Alright, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
So, what would you say the golden era hip hop?
What would I say is was the golden era of hip hop?
Yeah,
90s,
like
clearly. But
nine.
I think it's becoming now. It's nowadays. Right, it's right now. The golden era is what hip hop is becoming now. It's a more widespread. It's reaching every aspect of person.
Now being specifically this year, 2015, or like
Now being this new generation.
starting when?
Starting in, I guess not this new generation. Now is just the progression of hip hop and what it will become in the future. Is my idea of the golden age of hip hop. I think it started at its core, like in the early '90s. Not started at its core in the early '90s, but the early '90s was when it was incredible. But I think we're getting back to making a change through music.
Do you think there weren't as many changes going on in the 90s through music?
No, I think that there were, but I think that was more the goal of hip hop was change and sparking ideas.
What do you think the goal of hip hop is now?
I think it's getting back to that right now. Currently, for the past couple years, I think mainstream hip hop has been too much of promoting themselves and money and women and drugs, and I think finally, gradually, we're starting to get back to making a change in society and having a positive impact with music. And I think that's been something that's been really connecting with people of our age.
So, what would you say are like aspects of like 90s hip hop?
What do you mean aspects? Like in the '90s, what were the aspects of hip hop?
Yeah, like if you were saying that like the positive change is like reflective of the 90s, like what else would you categorize the 90s as besides like a movement of change?
People of the struggle trying to express their struggle and be understood, and trying to unify through music because at that time a lot of people, underprivileged people, weren't having their voices heard, and that was one way for them to, release what they felt about society. And that's what music is. It's just a release, in my opinion. And so, yeah.
Do you think that that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. Thanks. Hip hop music is incredible.
Can you hear a difference between East Coast and West Coast? Especially in the 90s? Specifically in the 90s? Or
I think you can't really generalize because, like, I was gonna say, well, Biggie was more of a flower, whereas Pac was a lyricist, more in my opinion. Biggie was the overall musician kind of guy that like really felt the beat. Pac obviously felt the beat, but Pac was more of a linguist and trying to. They both told incredible stories, but that's kind of how I think of it a little bit in a way. But then you got Snoop, who's like pimping, and he has one of the best flows of all time, and like Cube from Cali, like I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Yeah. They're definitely different sounds, but they're still so similar and so unique in so many aspects that it's hard for me to even really set up barriers between all hip hop music. Like, there's a little bit of a different funky sound for the South, for the like Northeast, for like the Midwest, and then like West Coast. Like, they all have their like sort of different funky sounds by like what their area because geography has a lot to do with who people essentially become and the type of music they're putting out. But slight variation, but it's all the same type of music to me. I don't have a preference towards West Coast or East Coast rap.
When did you become introduced to rap?
I was probably like 7, probably younger than that realistically, but like I started really like getting into rap when I was like 9ish. That's when I really fell in love with music.
Do you feel like it influenced you?
Oh, 100%. 1000%.
In which way? In what ways?
Well, people have said that the way you view the world is influenced by a lot of things, including the music you listen to. And if you're constantly listening to a certain type of music, you're going to view the world in a certain type of way. And I've listened to, I try to have rap playing in my head at all times. I always have some sort of line stuck in my head. And it's definitely influenced the way I just see the world as far as like, to explain, but it has shaped my worldview. And if I didn't listen to rap music, I would not be even close to the person I am. And I mean, just like, I don't know, the way I view words and the way I view, it's hard to explain. I don't know.
Do you think what do you think was more impactful in your understanding of words at the age of 9? Rap or like an English class?
English taught me how to read and how to write intellectually. Rap taught me how to think about the world. And so like I write very intellectually. I can understand highly technical documents and that sort of thing. And I read a lot when I was a kid. Not a lot, but like my parents tried to get me to read as much as I could. And so I read a lot, but listening to music shaped how I think about the world. I think about the world in terms of talking, but I write in a more intellectual level. So English class like taught me to be educated and proper with how I think, because I often think like, I'm saying how you doing, what's up, but that's how I talk. You know what I mean? That's what goes through my brain. And so rap music influenced how I see the world, how I think about the world, how I process language, and how I like to speak, because I think it's fun how they speak, how rappers talk and the slang and ebonics, if you want me to go into that. But it's how I've thought about the world forever, for as long as I can remember.
Were there any like social issues that like rap brought to your attention?
Oh well, for me, 100%, like the N-word, nigga. I view myself as a nigga. You a nigga. He's a nigga. She's a nigga. For me, in my head, that's obviously a super really racially charged term, and I would never use it in any hateful manner. I actually use it for people I actually feel the most comfortable around and show the most affection towards, and that is part of rap music. And I've heard a lot of rappers talk about like the racial use of that word, because it's constant in rap music. You know what I mean? It comes up all the time, and I feel like words shouldn't, although it has so much history behind it, words shouldn't hold that much hatred and that much influence over a society. Like for me, that word is like saying "What's up, brother?" You know what I mean? It's just like equal. It's just a word from my friends, and like that's one of the social issues for sure. And also just, I've been educated about this my whole life, but just the struggle of the people, and especially learning more in college of like African Americans and the mistreatment, and that's part of what led to the birth of hip hop, is just, being fed up with the world and trying to make a statement about it. And so like rap has definitely brought me a lot of social issues to my attention that I've known forever. My dad taught me a lot about way too much, and just equality is a strong moral principle for me. And so I'd say that rap has just reinforced that we're all equal, we're all the same person. Doesn't matter who you are, you can make it big. Doesn't matter who you are, you're still worth something. And race has nothing to do with anything.
What do you
Except
think?
it does have something to do with something.
What do you think of the labels gangster rap and conscious rap?
Okay, so are you saying conscious rap as in highly lyricists, they're being conscious of the message they're sending out, versus gangster rap like Bloods and Crips going out there thugging on the street? Is that what you're...
Do you equate like conscious rap with like high lyricism?
To an extent, intellectual lyricism. More intellectual lyricism.
Which would you say are more complicated rhyme schemes?
More complicated rhyme schemes. Well, that all depends on who you're talking about. What's your definition of conscious versus gangster rap?
I would define conscious rap as rap with a message. I don't think it's
Impact rap.
I don't think it's just a coincidence that the rappers smart enough to have a message, to like use rap for like what it's meant to be and like have a message. I don't think it's a coincidence that they always have like high lyricism.
Highly intellectual lyricism.
Yeah, like Kendrick Lamar.
Because they understand the world, and like they understand that being superstars, it's either they can be, you know what I mean, awful people as role models, because once you make it, you become someone's role model. People look up to these rap stars, you know what I mean? And so, I guess, yeah, conscious rap would be like people like Kendrick and Cole and Pac, you know what I mean? Like the people that like truly preach a message of improving the world. Whereas gangster rap, like, I love it, and I like the music, like 50 Cent. That's straight gangster rap to me. I mean, 50 Cent, regardless of what anybody thinks of him, 50's one of the actual G's in the game, going out, you know, popping people up, and like I still appreciate that rap because it's a way to let out the anger, and like that's more frustration rap to me. It's more. It's not though, because the others are frustrated about the world as it is, and are trying to make a change. I don't know, but yeah.
Do you
I enjoy
think?
all music, just for the record.
Would you think less of 50 Cent if you found out that his life was made up?
To an extent, he's still got the flow over here, and he's still got some G credit to his name, regardless of other mitigating factors. He was still a G in New York, like he still did his thing there. You know what I mean? He probably didn't do half the shit he talks about, and like, but he was still pimping, he was still slanging, he was still like doing his thing. Like he still has respect, in my opinion.
Were those things that made you look up to him?
Nah, they didn't make me look up to him, but as far as a man from the hood doing those things and then making a living through rap music, I looked up to him for that. And I like his music. It's
For like
his
the
flows.
entrepreneurship of it all?
I respect the hell out of how he has risen up through. You know what I mean? It's like Mike Tyson. Don't necessarily respect everything the dude does, but like as far as the American dream, he's living it. I wish the American dream was equality, but it's getting ahead and making money. So I do respect that part of 50.
What do you think the American dream was back in the 90s?
Equality. Still what I think it should be. Just equality and like being able to live comfortably with the people you care about. Still essentially what it is, you know what I mean? I mean, it's getting rich. It's always been like making it out the hood. That's what like the American dream is, like come to a better land, work your way up and make it out, you know what I mean? That's what it is, but I think that's still the case even today. But I don't know. I think that the American dream is true equality for all. But if you look at a capitalist society, which is what America is, that's just not how it works. So the American dream is working up from nothing and making something for yourselves and those you care about.
How do you feel about the fact that gangster rap is what's mostly played on the radio?
Yeah, I think it's stupid. I mean, I like some of the music for sure. I bump it, I slap it, the beats are cool. But I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of mainstream rap sometimes is more for the beats. They aren't actually listening to the music. They're just like, yeah, let me bob my head while I listen to this kind of stuff. Whereas real like rap that's trying to make a change, although it's becoming popular nowadays, we're getting there. I feel, I don't know. I feel like we're getting there, but it's just stupid, mind washed sometimes, and often the media portrays stuff in a way the media wants us to be dumb and to buy into like their lifestyle, like Gucci and Prada, and you know what I mean. It's all like it's a whole system of issues that lead to that. But I don't like it, but I do like some of the music. I wish there was more. You know.
Why do you think capitalism wants to sell, like, gangster rap?
Oh, to reinforce the hood mentality. I mean, honestly, like, racism is still a huge issue in America, and by reinforcing the game, pop, look at me selling drugs, like, I'm a thug, by reinforcing that mentality, they're promoting the capitalist system of prison. And they're promoting young people to be inspired by people who are doing crimes or supposedly doing crimes. And it's just to keep the system as it is oppressing people. And a lot of gangster rap kind of does that, you know? So if the media and if more people were to hear the messages of new artists such as Cole and such as Kendrick, I use them a lot because I think they're two of the most revolutionary, like hip hop artists in a very long time. Especially the way they're writing their music, the music they're putting out. But if people were to more sit down and really listen to that message, maybe the mentality would change like Cuba's trying to get it to back in the day. And that is one of my problems with people like 50 Cent and Game and Weezy. You know what I mean? Some of my favorite rappers, some of my favorite music, they reinforce that hood mentality. But like, you gotta shake it.
What do you think of all the, like, hip-hop beefs?
What do I think of them?
Like the drama.
A lot of it's publicity, in my opinion. A lot of it's publicity. I understand a lot of it, and like, shit happens. People have beef with each other in real life. It's just in the hip hop world that gets blown up, and now they're talking trash on each other. They're writing music on each other, and then the fans take that and just throw it to a whole nother level. That's That's what I think. It's like humans have beef all the time. You know what I mean? Like, but when you're a rapper and somebody comes at you, sort of, you gotta respond, and like, you know what I mean? It just builds and builds and builds. Media adds onto it, fans add onto it, and it just becomes like bigger than it would be if it was just, if they weren't coming at each other's neck through music that people are listening to. I ain't coming at each other's neck through music, but just like coming at each other's neck through all. Basically, they should just chill out. With any beef, like squash it.